Now we have a moment for mission, and I'm going to ask Amy Everetts to come forward. And as she comes up here, I would tell you she is the Director of Development for the WRC. She has been in that job for 7 years, but has 20 years experience in the field. She started when she was 13. But she has been with the WRC, and before that, the Scranton Cultural Center and the museum, Everhart. Amy, tell us some stories about how your organization has made a difference for the better in people's lives.
Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Hi. I told the Reverend before you would think after 7 years I wouldn't get so excited and passionate. So I said, you got to tell me when to wrap it up. And he said he was going to sing Amazing Grace. So if he starts singing, that's my cue. You can all join in. So I try not to prepare too much for this. And of course, I was, a little nervous. But as soon as I got here, you really did make me feel at home. And I was thinking the best way to describe WRC, and I looked up there. Hope, peace, and prepare. I don't think those words could better describe our work than that. If you are not familiar with WRC, we help survivors and their children who are victims of domestic and sexual violence in Lackawanna and Susquehanna counties. Last year alone, we served 2,700 adults and children just in 1 year, just in that 2-county region. We took in over 10,000 hotline calls and provided 23,000 safe nights of shelter. So we're very busy and we're making a difference. And I wanted to give you a snapshot, but I was thinking about it, and I had the honor last week of doing a video with one of our survivors for our Great Chefs event. It's coming up in May. I can give you information after if you're interested. But every video that I've done the past 7 years for anything with any survivor, the first thing they say is, I'm alive today and my children are alive today because of God and the Women's Resource Center and now WRC. And that really is the truth. They find strength in something greater than themselves to get them there. Because often they have, when you think of survivors, you often think of physical abuse. They hit me, or, they physically abuse me. That's not always the case. Actually, the majority of our cases are people who are survivors of financial and emotional abuse, because sometimes that's the most crippling thing to leave. Because the batterer will take you and take that person and truly remove their spirit, their life, their love, and make them feel unworthy. And we call people, we don't call them clients, we call them survivors, because they are surviving in the situation they are given. And then there comes a point where they realize, they learn about us, and one woman actually was being, I won't get into detail with the children, but human trafficked. And the only place she was allowed to go was the grocery store. And we have little tags, like a poster up many times at our local grocery stores or in hospital, different places. And she got it. And because of that little tag that we had, unidentifiable, it's just a number, her and her daughter are thriving today. They were both victims of human trafficking and are living the most beautiful life. And I actually ran into them at a grocery store for another fundraiser, Bag Abuse, which we always need volunteers. I'll also talk to you about that after if you're interested. And she came up to me and she told me her story. And there was a gentleman, now her husband, who was the most kind soul I think I've ever met. And he said, I can't thank you enough. And you could tell they didn't necessarily have a lot of means. But do you know he couldn't run fast enough to that ATM and hand me $50, which is a lot of money for this gentleman and his wife. And he said, thank you for saving her life and saving mine. Because during that time she met him, she was counseling him about what she was learning at WRC. And I'd like to point that out, is that 1 in 7 women and 1 in 4 women and 1 of 7 men experience abuse of some type. It is not just women, which is why we are now in WRC. It is everybody who can experience that emotional, that financial, and we're here to help whoever needs it. So if you're not familiar, just a very brief snapshot. Someone will call, we have our point of entry, which is our hotline. So you can call our hotline any time of day, day or night, 24 hours. We have English and speaking advocates. And during that time, we assess the situation. Sometimes it'll be just someone calling to say, hey, I don't know if this is abuse. You know, they don't hit me, they don't, you know, and we'll say, well, come on in, we'll talk to you, you know, or sometimes it's, I'm in a very dangerous situation and I need to get out now. So that case, we get them transportation, get them to one of our safe houses around the community and work with them on developing a safety plan. And I'd like to point that out is our organization will never tell someone what to do. That's what they're used to, is someone always saying, this is what you have to do. This is, you know your situation better than anyone. So there may come a time where they will use our attorneys, which are completely free. Everything we do is free and confidential. We have 5 professional attorneys, they're not pro bono, who specialize in protection from abuse order, divorce, custody, immigration, because they need that support. And oftentimes, the batterer has the money. So they're going, we were seeing our people going into court, and they didn't stand a chance. They were losing their kids because they had the expensive attorney and our program participant didn't. So we're trying to look at those avenues on how to help. And it's making a huge difference. One of our board members who literally came to us with a garbage bag, Michelle, she came to us and with nothing. Today, she's doing very well. Several businesses, thriving in the community, and now serves on our board and probably is one of our biggest donors. And that was 5 years ago. And she just needed some help through our Justice Center and through our people who truly love. And I will tell you, a lot of our staff, the majority are survivors that are on staff at WRC. So they can relate to what the person is going through. So she's thriving. And then there's also the other board member, Brian, who serves on our board. He's probably one of the most successful businessmen in the area. And he's been on our board for 15 years. And it was 5 years ago, he came up to my executive director, Peg Ruddy. She's been there 40 years now. And he said, Peg, you know, I knew you a long time ago. And she said, what do you mean? And he said, I was 8 years old and I lived in the safe house and you were the shelter manager. And she said, you're kidding me. And he never told us till that moment. And it was a very dangerous situation. I won't get into details. But today he's thriving. He's been on our board for 15 years. And again, this is just a testament. And he tells the story about the first time he had $1 to get a pack of Kool-Aid to share with the house because his father would never let him have Kool-Aid. And how that was a moment of just pure joy. And that is what it's about. So someone will call our hotline, we'll assess. They could either get an attorney. We pay for people's housing up to a year and a half, sometimes 2. That includes rent, utilities, car repairs, child care, whatever they need to get in that situation because, you know, you can't get your life together in 30 days. It's just not possible. And during that time, we pay for the shoes that they may need to waitress or to go back to school. We have partnerships with the universities. We're changing lives, and we are allowing them the resources. And since we started using our Housing First model, now, which is several safe houses in our area, we have seen 80% non-return rate to the batterer, which is huge. We went from one shelter to numerous confidential locations throughout the community. And now people are working with people to develop a plan for their future. And I mean, let's go to the board member that's probably a millionaire right now who came in with the garbage bag, who just needed that help. So I told you the success story, but what if, now what? So we're seeing all these issues and problems, right? So what do? Education. We actually were in the North Pocono School District right down here. We do 5th through 12th grade, where our team education goes in and teaches What does a healthy relationship look like? And self-reflecting and saying, am I texting too much? How am I acting? Looking at oneself, not always just putting it on the other. Allowing them how to communicate without screaming or yelling. And I'll tell you what, the reality is not a lot of families witness that type of healthy relationship. So it's a way and tools, and one of the teachers listened to the classes and came to us and said, I need help. I didn't even realize till you were in this school, and we're helping her. I have a friend in Abington School District. She brought home the paper that one of our students had. She used our Justice Center and today is thriving. So sometimes you need that education. We're also now training sexual assault nurses, examiners in the different area hospitals. We are the only designated rape crisis center in the area. So they went from someone that isn't getting necessarily the proper collection of evidence to now people that are trained. We're training healthcare professionals, over 500 last year, at our medical advocacy conference to talk to people if should they maybe be in a situation. So when you have your survey, heart disease, do you have high blood pressure, are you safe at home is now one of the questions in the area because of us, which allows people to check it and we can begin a conversation. So really, that is just a snapshot. I won't take a ton of time, but I can tell you for 7 years, I have seen transformation, and it's because of the community. We have an area church down the road. They did a gift card drive for the holidays, grocery gift cards. Our families had Thanksgiving dinner with those gift cards. We had one do car repairs or gas cards. Those little things we take for granted that really add up. And just to give you a picture of that 23,000 safe nights of shelter, one night of our safe shelter is $100 a night until they get into the housing, which is a lot more. And we currently are facing some severe, and for the past 2 years, state and federal funding reimbursement delays. We are 70% state and federally and state funded. So that's 70% of our budget. It's taking 3 to 6 months to get those monies. So it really has been our fundraisers and the community and donors stepping in to fill those gaps until that money comes in. We can't thank you enough because I guarantee, and I don't want to trigger anyone, there are people in this room who are survivors, who have experienced this. So when you are helping WRC, you are helping someone probably in this room, should they need to use us. You are helping that sister that may need help. You are helping your nephew who maybe experienced something. So we are here for you, your family, your community, and we can't do it without you. We can't fill these gaps without support of organizations such as yours. And every dollar goes a long way. Every bottle of shampoo that someone donates, everything goes really a long way. I can't tell you, I was in a pizza place and the owner said to me, I had Christmas because of WRC. I had to find presents this year for 41 families in our safe housing program. One woman has 7 kids and is doing it on her own and is thriving. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for allowing me this opportunity to speak. I'm always here for questions. I brought brochures and business cards. And I just can't thank you enough because really it's the people like you who tithe, who give back, who are spiritual and have a solution of saying, what did Jesus do? Helped others. How can we help others? How can I look inward? And what little thing or big thing can I do to really transform a life? Because I'm here to tell you, you are. Thank you.